Court Edition. The Honorable Judge Vanderbilt has been ruling over this case, docket HERstory. We've heard from both Attorney His and Attorney Her. Thus far, there have been debates over whose problem is this. Has the feminist movement gone too far? And what does God have to say about gender roles? What were they in the first century church? We've heard from witness Pastor Russ, and today there are not one, but two new witnesses that will take the witness stand. Stay tuned. They're calling in now.
I'm this young girl, 9 years old, in my preteens, and know nothing about life or sex or anything else. And the one thing that the church has talked about so much to young ladies, their purity, and them keeping that, has been taken away from me. And the only thing I could do to find joy, find peace, was to holler and sing my butt off when I sang for TFC, which was so fun, because TFC was like the young group that like could always sing these great songs that was for like these mass choirs and bring them to life, and it was like the best time ever. It's like I had this exit and I had this out. And I had a way that I could release all this pain and give it to God, but I didn't necessarily know Him at that time. So I'm growing up this broken girl who has everybody in her ear telling her, you have to be pure, keep this purity, protect it, make sure you don't give it away. All these adults that's always teaching me and telling me about how I should be this woman, but all I know is this broken child, this broken little girl who has to smile in everybody's face, but is crying on the inside because she already knows that that purity has been taken away. It was rough. And then you got your younger siblings looking up to you. It doesn't help. Like, I was the first girl of 15 children, and I have so many that's looking up to me and that are expecting me to hold this and be able to provide some kind of route, some way to this perfect image that we've been told that this is what you're supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to look like, but it's not reality. It's not real. There are so many people that are not protected, that have not been able to be this pure woman who can offer the world this greatness and then find the man of her dreams. And so I grow up and I'm being called fast. I'm being called everything that I can think of. But nobody really truly knows, except for the ones that misuse me and abuse me. The adults in my life, I didn't tell them. You know, you can't go out and tell somebody who's telling you to be pure, oh, I've already lost that. And that happened because of the people that you're telling me to be around, my family. You know, I can't tell y'all I've been abused. I can't tell you I've been misused. I can't tell you I'm not a virgin, you know. It was rough. And then I met the first man first boy that I wanted to offer myself to without it being taken. And that changed everything. Because I stopped singing. I stopped offering up this praise. I stopped talking about God. I stopped reading. I stopped studying because I didn't know God at this point. All I knew was what I grew up in. All I knew was this false reality of what people want you to see, but it's not real. But then I found somebody who's being real with me and who sees my pain, because they're in just as much pain as I am. At least I can see that, and I'm trying to fix them because, you know, I'm a fixer-upper. I don't want people to see that I need to be fixed, so I'm trying to find somebody else that needs to be fixed. I find this guy, And I'm offering him everything that I have left. Everything that I have left. And he didn't misuse me the way that I expected him to. He cheated. And cheating to me was like the worst thing ever. I have parents that have been together their whole marriage. They got a bunch of kids and they've been married this whole time. So I'm thinking, hey, I'm gonna be with this man for the rest of my life. It's all good. You know, we finna get married. No. That broke me down. I didn't have anything else to give. 4 years of being in a relationship with somebody who didn't love me because they didn't love themselves. And I didn't know how to love me. I couldn't love me. I didn't think that there was anything left to love. Didn't think there was anything ever there to love. I grew up with the same thing over and over and over again. And who could I talk to about it? And that's when I met God, because he came in when I was at my lowest point. And I had nobody to talk to. I couldn't talk to my mama. I couldn't talk to my daddy. I couldn't talk to my siblings, because all they saw was this oldest girl, you know, the perfect child that everybody saying, you know, you're the favorite. You get everything you want. Do I? I couldn't talk to anybody. Can't talk to social workers because, you know, what goes on in the house stays in the house. You can't. I couldn't talk to nobody, and I was so depressed. I was so broken. And I hated every single person that wanted me to smile. I hated every single person that called me songbird. I hated every single person. And I know hate is such a strong word, y'all, but I was so low. I didn't want nobody to touch me. I didn't want to touch nobody. I didn't want to be around nobody. I felt so nasty. I don't know how God. I don't know. He does it. He just does it. He sends people when you need them. And he sent Jonathan. I can't stand that boy, but he sent him. And now everything is coming out, y'all. This broken girl who doesn't know herself, who doesn't know anything about Christ really, because all I've known about Christ is fear. And then he sends more people. He sent Reform. He sent a bunch of people that actually love me, that didn't misuse me, that didn't abuse me, that has not once expected anything from me that I could not give. And all I can say is thank God, because I can't do it without him, y'all. I'm lit. There is nothing that I can do without him. I can honestly say that these past 2 years has been such a life-changing experience. There has been nothing in my story that I can say has happened without God being there. I love my family to death. I love them. I forgive them. But I am a broken woman who can't love myself, because I'm just now learning what love is. I am just now learning what it is to take care of myself, to actually take some time to understand, like, it's okay to say you've hurt. It's okay to say that I am hurting and that I am broken, gracefully broken, praise God. And he is building me back up. He's tearing down everything that was put there that shouldn't have been. All these ideas about what a woman should be and what a woman should look like and how strong she's supposed to be, and this black woman that's supposed to be so happy and supposed to be so different, and no, I am a beautiful, strong black woman, and I have come through so much. That ain't even a half of it. But you cannot tell me that God ain't real, because he's the only one that brought me through. I guarantee you that it is so many other girls right now that are being misused, abused, and I am praying that God sends them somebody like he sent somebody for me. And I know that he will. But part of that starts with us having to acknowledge that, one, we have been hurt, we have been misused, we have been abused, we have been mistreated, and our pain matters. And our pain can be changed and used to build up a community that changes lives. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to help build that community. I'm going to help build this strong foundation where women and anybody else that has been used like this knows that you have somebody who's been through the same thing. And you don't have to be scared to open up that door and say, I'm hurting and I need somebody to help me. Because I did. And I still do. And he is. God is helping me every single day. When I sit up at night and I think about it and I don't want my husband to touch me. When I don't want hugs from people. When I have hard time smiling. God is the one that helps provide that smile. God is the one that helps send people my way so that I know I'm loved. And that I'm valued. I don't care what nobody says. Know that you're loved and know that you're valued. You deserve it.
I'm Dewayna McMillan, and I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Hello, my name is Dewayna McMillan, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm a member of Reformation Church, and I'm here to tell my story. I'm 39 years old. I'm a mother of 3, and I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. My story begins for me as a teenage mother. I had my first child at 18. I remember being a very rebellious teenager. I wanted to do and see everything, you know. My wish was to just be grown, you know. I wanted to have fun, explore, and pick and choose and do whatever I wanted to do. And I think God blessed me with being grown, but he showed me being grown, his responsibilities, taking care of your family and doing the things that you're supposed to do. So he blessed me with a son, July the 7th, 2000. I graduated high school May that year. So 2 months after graduation, I became grown. I was a mother. Darius Jarrell Gilmore, he blessed my life. After having him, I never looked back. I couldn't be a wild, rebellious teen. I had to be a responsible mother. And I thank God for allowing me to do that, because it changed my life. And I wouldn't have done it different. I wouldn't have done anything different. I don't regret a moment. And a year later, I had his sister, July the 20th, 2001. And their little brother, December the 12th, 2003. So that was the story of a teenage woman turning into a mommy. And I wanted that, and I'm glad that God gave me that experience. But I always tell people, be careful what you ask for, because you never know what that means. So God always shows us what we really ask for, what that means. I really don't know really where to start, but having them made me want to do better, made me want to have better and provide them a better life. And with those experiences that I had, being a rebellious teen, I watched my mother. She was a nurse. My grandmother was a nurse, and they provided a beautiful life for me. So I knew I had to do the same thing for my children without an education. So I decided to do different things with my spare time. I learned how to have different streams of income. I worked 40 hours. I had a cleaning service. Sold movies. I've done just about everything under the sun, but I wanted to provide my children with a good life. They played sports. They were involved in a little bit of everything, dance, ballet. My children, I wanted them to be well-rounded. And with the help of my family and me just trying to stay strong and remember that my source and my strength came from God, and just remembering to keep on carrying on regardless to what was going on. I was able to do that and raise 3 beautiful children. I don't condone or suggest young women to be a mother. It was a very difficult experience, but it did do me good because it taught me that grown isn't just going out having fun and doing what you want to. In fact, I thought it meant freedom, but it does mean a lot of responsibility. You're really probably the most tied up being grown than anything. You're responsible for paying bills, making sure other people are okay. So I really didn't understand what grown meant. So I tell young ladies, please live your life, do everything that you want to do. Being a parent is one of the most rewarding things, but it comes with experience, and you want to be able to provide them with stories of the things you've been through, your success, even and your failures. So as a teenager, you haven't been through enough to even provide them with enough, but where there's a will, there's a way, and I know God provided me a way to do that with the help of my mother, their father, my grandmother. I was able to provide them a good life, and I said all of that to say continued prayers are the main thing that helped me with my story. So the last 2 years have been a very, very, very trying time for me, and I just say bless the Lord because I'm still standing. For the first time in my life, I experienced a major separation, and I never have lost anyone in my life that close to me prior to 2016 when I lost my grandmother. But I suffered from a separation from a 20-year relationship. And at that very time, my son was going to the military. My oldest son was going to the military. And I just didn't know what to do. My job was actually downsizing, so I took an extreme pay cut. I was separated from the man I spent my whole adult life with, teenage to adult life with. I've been with him since the age of 17. I'm 39 now. And we decided to part ways, and I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do. My income was changing. I was still trying to sustain an entire house, and I still had 2 children living under my roof. A child that just left for the military, and I was just at a loss. I didn't know what to do. My heart was sick. My pockets were even sicker. I don't know, I just can remember, some nights going to the shower and just crying in the shower because I didn't want the children to know that I was suffering. I was in pain. I was missing my baby, my child, and I was missing the man that I had spent my entire life with. I didn't know how to function. Things were going on at work, so I had to keep my game face on and keep moving. I was praying every day, Lord, please just be with me and give me the strength to go through this hard time. And I was paying bills, and I was just thinking like where I'm going to get money, what am I going to do? And every month the Lord provided. I was Ubering and lifting. I was doing everything. I worked full-time, leaving work. I have a cleaning service, cleaning buildings on the weekends, Ubering, and just doing everything I needed to do to take care of business for my family because I knew it wasn't no other way. I couldn't stop. I couldn't give up, and I knew God was going to reward me for my due diligence and continuing to push through. I decided to go to real estate school during that time. I knew I need something to take my mind away from the stress. I had a girlfriend that said, I want to invest in your future. So she paid for me to go to real estate school. I would study in the evenings with my mom. I would tell her what I was going through. Took my classes on the weekends. In that time, my son graduated from boot camp and flew to Texas to see him. Came back several months later, went and took my test. Became a realtor, was very, very, very happy that I was able to make that thing happen, especially in the midst of all the things that were going on. During that time, also, My son, well, we hit the pandemic, I think, ended up coming back home. And after he came back home, in March. He surprised me. We had actually just came back home from a family trip to Mississippi because my kids lost their grandfather last March. And Darius came home and surprised us all, and we were so happy and elated that he was here. Of course, the pandemic made him have to stay until May. That was March. And I was happy I had all three of my babies back. I was about to start fussing one day, right when he first came back, and my youngest said, "Mom, you wanted us all back, so what can you fuss about now?" I was like, yeah, you're right. But I was just happy that he was home, happy to have all three of my babies back. And even though I was still suffering in silence, I was like, God, you're still answering my prayers. Just happy and elated that I was able to see the fruits of my hard labor. My baby was in the Air Force, doing good, came home to see us, and my heart was very, very, very happy. Just what I had been praying for. Just wanted him home, just wanted my family back, because see, that's all I knew was my family. And that was my driving motivation to do the things that I had done over the years, to fight the battles that I fought. I had a family. I had something I had to do that was bigger than me. And it made me so happy. And while he was gone, of course, when he got back, COVID, was here. My daughter, I remember, by the time May came, my daughter had caught COVID-19, and she had just went back to work, was back at work for like 3 days, and found out she had COVID 3 days later. So we had self-quarantine, so we were all in the house because Diamond had COVID. And so me and the boys said, well, Monday, because we found out she had it on the Sunday. She had went to TriStar 24-hour clinic, found out she did have it. Me and the boys went that Monday to find out whether we had it. So we got back home, and we just spent the week together. And even though it was a sad, crazy time, my daughter was sick, me and the boys spent the week together, just being at home, watching movies, and just enjoying it. And I was like, even though the world is shut down, I was so happy that I was able to spend those days with my family. And that Thursday, my son said, Mom, I want to go ahead and get out. Sorry, they got their results back. We were all negative. So my son Thursday was like, my oldest, he said, Mom, I want to go visit my girlfriend. She lost her best friend, had passed in a car accident. And he said, I want to go see her. And I said, get on out the house, go have fun. That Friday, that evening, he came on back home. And that Friday, he left back out and said, hey, I'm going to see my friends. And that was the last time I saw my son. He left and never came back. He was in a tragic car accident that Friday. So just imagine finding out on a Sunday your daughter has COVID-19. Sorry. And then I lost my baby that Friday. I said, God, what am I supposed to do? I'm doing all of these things for my family, and now I lost my baby. So in the midst of all of those things, the pandemic, losing my son, I remembered that my family, especially my grandmother, taught me how to pray. I was dead on the inside. I was hollow because my life consists of my family. And at this point, I had so many reasons to say, hey, I give up. I don't know what else to do. God, you're giving me a lot. And I would get mad because I was like, I remember telling my mom, they say God didn't put more on you than you can bear. And I said, I don't know how much you think I can bear because I done bear too much and I was tired. But I remember to pray. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. Prayed when I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. But he gave me strength and he told me, daughter, get up. I decided to get up and start living my life because I knew my son wouldn't want me to stop and give up. And I still had 2 children that were living and needed to see me continuing to move forward. And I made a pact with God and I told him that I was going to live every day to the fullest. I didn't want to take any day and any moment for granted. I wanted to find the ray of hope inside this loss or these several losses that I took. So I decided to try to take my life back in the best way I knew how to. I invested in myself. I walked away from my job, decided to do my real estate. I have a consulting business with my mother, and I asked her to have faith in what we were doing and believe in what was next, because we didn't know what was next. And I knew I had to have faith in the process and just believe and trust in where God was taking me, because at this point you don't know what to do, especially after losing a child, walking away from a job, trying to glue a relationship of 20 years back together. After we lost our son, we decided we would work on things, and all I could do was pray. Because everything around me was saying, run away. But God told me I needed to pray. And I gave him my life, gave him my thoughts and my very being. And I told him if he don't walk with me, no one else could. I didn't want to be an angry or a bitter person. I wanted to let my light shine to be a strength or enlightening for someone else, because I knew I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. The loss of a child is like a heartbreak that never ends. But I knew he was with me. So after I lost him, I found God and I found him. And I know he's with me every day. And I say thank God for my guardian angel. He does things for me that I know only God would allow. His grace and mercy and the opportunity to just see hope in the midst of downtroddenness. And I really don't know what else to do but pray and just ask anybody and everybody going through any trials and tribulations. You might not know what's next, but the only weapon we have now is prayer and faith.